Please.
Maybe if you don't speak, maybe if you just stay quiet.
I'm
he'll
so
actually
uncomfortable with silence.
What if I deafened right now? Wouldn't that be funny?
For the rest of the podcast.
I'm just deafened for the podcast, and through astral projection, I have to figure out when the conversation is happening on my recording.
That's when, like...
Hello and welcome to MCUnhinged, a Marvel podcast where we talk about the Marvel movie.
I had a joke! I was all ready!
A podcast where we talk about a lot of the Marvel stuff that comes out in order of release. And we talk about the connections, and we recap it, and talk about the swear words, and I keep adding more stuff for me to do.
You do that.
And yeah, I'm here. I'm Tyler, and I'm here with Shawn and Shibuya. How's it going?
It's going good.
I'm excited and scared.
Great. Today we're talking about Doctor Strange. This movie came out in 2016 at a runtime of 1 hour and 55 minutes.
I think it feels like a good 1 hour, a good 1 hour and 55 minutes. It doesn't. Sorry, somebody was screaming. I feel like it doesn't like. I feel it feels like a good hour 55. I didn't think like it dragged or went too fast at all. I liked the pacing.
It's a good 155 when it doesn't feel like a 155.
I didn't think this felt like a 155.
There was a point where I was watching and I was like having a drink and my mouse cursor moved over the screen and I was like, what do you mean an hour's gone by? It feels like it's been 30 minutes.
Yeah, there was a moment where I was like, there's only 30 minutes left in this movie? What the fuck?
I had to take notes, so like a lot of notes, so it felt every minute of it. But that's just every movie, actually.
Tyler, do you think that this podcast is ruining your enjoyment of these movies?
No.
Okay. We'll check back in.
Phase four check-in with
Tyler's
Tyler's
30 deep. Let's see how I feel. Right now, we're only halfway there. So
I mean, halfway is still not bad.
We're halfway there.
Looking back now.
It actually is looking good now.
Is it? Ooh,
yeah.
Well, all right.
Big time rush.
I'm going to go kill myself.
Meanwhile, my brain was on living on a prayer, so I don't know what the fuck.
Check out Tyler's and I's podcast coming soon where we watch all of Big Time Rush and talk about it.
I have DVDs on my shelf. You need to invite me on that shit.
Dude, please.
Fuck
Doctor Strange. Who wants to talk about Big Time Rush?
Yo! Who's your guy?
So, this movie was directed by Scott Derrickson.
Scott Derrickson's my guy.
Written by John Spates. I don't know if that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill.
Yeah, C. Robert Cargill is Scott Derrickson's writing partner.
Okay. It has a budget of about $165 million. With a box office of $955,775,804 worldwide.
This made a lot more money than I thought it did.
That's a big number. That's a 43% domestic and 57% international split. This movie has a 89% with critics and 86% with audiences on Rotten Tomatoes. Has a 7.5 on IMDb and an 85% on Google. So overall, it tracks pretty well.
God damn.
Are you all right, Shawn?
What's the matter, man?
Yeah. Just. You want to transition this to the next part, Tyler, or?
Yeah. What's happening? What's going on? You all right?
It was just a lot of silence, you know. It was just like you were just being quiet for a minute. I was like, yeah, you gonna.
I kind of thought you'd chime in, but you didn't. So now we have to sit in silence. That's what happened.
Is that when has that ever been how this works? When has it ever been after you finish
I'm taking
reading
a
all
sip
the
of my
stats?
drink while you two hash it out like an old married couple.
When has it ever been the case that after you're done reading the stats about the movie that we just have to like jump in and start to you always ask
You
one of
usually
us
say
what
something
we
about
thought.
the score. You usually say something about the score, but you didn't.
It feels like a good score. What do you want from me?
That
I don't
he
know.
wanted that. You just did it.
I thought, you know what? I thought I would I thought I'd let Tyler not get interrupted for once. And here we are. Look how that happened. I interrupted him even more than usual.
Maybe you should have just given your thoughts. How about that?
You know, the
I was
road to hell is
waiting-
paved with awkward silence.
Exactly. I was waiting for an invitation.
You a vampire?
Yes, apparent. God damn it! Ask the question, Tyler.
Hey, when's our podcast where we cover all the Vampire Diaries, huh?
Okay, Shawn and Shibuya.
What's up?
What are your top level thoughts on the movie?
Fun and good. Those are my top level thoughts.
Yeah, I might be like a fantasy freak, but I really fucking loved this movie, especially I don't know if I've seen this movie since it came out in theaters, maybe once or twice, but I really, really liked this movie. And I'm excited to talk about this movie, Tyler, this movie, and this movie alone, right?
We already brought up Spider-Man, No Way Home, brought up...
Doctor Strange 1 is the only Doctor Strange we will
Yes,
be
thank
talking
you.
about. I am making this statement now. And if
I mean, it might
anyone
as well be the
breaks
only Doctor
this
Strange
oath,
movie, honestly.
other than like a single sentence or a quick referential, hey, you know, I'll have actions for them. Those actions will not be pleasant, but you know, it's fine.
Tyler already fired the first shot. Yeah,
Catch
really
me
liked the
loading up
movie.
my gun.
Thank you. Please shoot him.
I mean, these bullets are rated E for everyone, so anybody who breaks this will get that shit.
You
You're
know
gonna
what?
have to wait 7 days.
What? What
No,
do you
I
mean?
can. I mean, I can still hit you in like the leg. You can edit with a leg with a bullet wound.
Can I?
Yes.
But
We'll
will
see.
he?
Okay, that's a fair point. At the same time, again, E for everyone. I did make that statement. I'm not breaking that promise.
So, this movie opened with the most important thing, which is the Marvel intro, the one that we all know.
That's true. It does open with that.
14 minutes in. Sorry, 14 movies in. I said minutes.
Actually, we're 17 and a half minutes in.
Mm-hmm. And you're stupid. How about that?
Tyler fucking swinging today. Holy shit.
And who is this intro composed by, Shawn?
Michael Giacchino,
That's right.
my boy. He also does the score for this movie, and he does an incredible job.
Yeah. So the film opens in in a dark temple where hooded figures all walk in tandem towards a man placing a book on a hexagonal shelf. They use magic to string him up, and their leader, Caecilius, who we find played by Mads Mikkelsen, of all people, beheads him and opens the book of Cagliostro and removes a page from it. Someone warns him that this will only bring him sorrow, and they magic run through the streets of London. And they magic run. This hooded figure that's clad in his yellow outfit brings them all into what we will know as the mirror dimension. And while being called a hypocrite, they fight, and the buildings move and sway and shift and warp. But Caecilius gets away, and this hooded person walks away. And they definitely get some weird looks because obviously they're dressed fucking weird.
I
Already, I
assume
really
there's
love
a
the
Comic-Con
visuals.
happening.
Yeah, I really love the visuals in this movie. We only get a little taste of them in this opening scene, but man, I think they really killed it.
No, it's so fucking good, and it's so consistently good too. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
just a flair to this movie that a lot of, especially more modern MCU movies, almost feel like they're kind of lacking. Especially with like the whole color grading debate I've seen going around lately, because this movie doesn't really suffer from that problem. Things just feel like they look normal with that little tinge of weird, which is it's a good balance.
Yeah. So we cut to Dr. Stephen Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, preparing to perform surgery to some funky music. He guesses songs and what year they came out as he does the surgery. He's kind of like this hotshot surgeon. Right? So we see Christine Palmer, played by Rachel McAdams. You might know her from Mean Girls and maybe other things. She comes to the room to get some help from him. And a bunch of medical terms get thrown around that I don't know, like GSW, which actually just stands for gunshot wound.
Yeah.
And they have to hurry because this patient has been diagnosed with brain death by Dr. Nick
With
West.
brain death?
Brain death is what they said.
Or brain dead.
No, brain death.
It's brain death.
Oh.
Yeah. Trying to sound smart, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm not trying to sound smart. I just
because you're in college
brain
doesn't
death
mean
is
anything,
weird.
Shawn.
Damn.
That's right.
That's true. Especially when I'm going to college for history. An extra doesn't mean anything.
So Nick West is played by Michael Stolbard, and he's a character. He's around. They kind of don't like. I mean, I guess they just don't like him. He seems pretty normal, though. I guess.
I mean, Strange really doesn't like him. Everyone else is just like, he's okay. If I had to rate him as a doctor, I'd rate him like a 7.5, which means that I don't want to say he's mid, but he's mid.
Strange is also just kind of an asshole, so like it's hard to really judge how bad anybody is around him.
I mean, I'm saying this more based off of what she says later than anything. Because taking his word for it, everybody else is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So this man who's been diagnosed with brain death isn't dead.
I get it.
But he is.
I get it.
He is
I get
dying.
it, Tyler.
And so they have to operate. They won't let Nick help. And Strange, he does the surgery. He's gonna pull this all freehand. Not even gonna use the machine. Lots of medical stuff. I'm kind of wishing we would have passed this because, sure, whatever you say, doctors.
See, I actually really like this opening. I think it's a pretty cool touch.
Like, I just mean for taking notes. It doesn't.
I see.
About all this medical jargon.
Yeah.
But he also makes Wes cover up his watch.
I like that.
Hear the ticking.
Like I like how loud the ticking sounds. They really pump the volume up on that thing in the mix. Yeah, so it
get
a speaker
it
on
really
it.
works. Yeah. What was that? Are you okay?
You good?
Why do you laugh like a fucking like imp?
Giggling out here. Holy shit!
Like you laugh like you're just coming out of a Midsummer Night's Dream, dude. Like what the fuck?
So, we can see that Strange is a very skilled doctor, but very much a complete asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Christine wants Strange to be her neurosurgeon on call, but he thinks that's too low level. No awards or interviews working in the ER. He asks her if Nick and her are sleeping together. But,
super personal question.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing to ask. But she has this rule against dating coworkers called the Strange policy. Named after him. Because he sucks. He asked her to come to a speaking engagement tonight, but she won't because they aren't fun and mostly fuel his ego. She also tells him that everything is about him. He suits up and he picks a watch in this crazy fucking watch display. Also, we can see the Avengers Tower in the background, or formerly Avengers Tower. And he hits the Neurological Society dinner. He's driving way too fast while on this mountainside road. And he takes some calls about potential patients. So, first up, we get a 35-year-old Air Force colonel who crushed their lower spine in some experimental armor, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit. Oh, my God, yeah. Fuck, I did make a note about that, because that's insane. That's Rhodey.
No, it's not Rhodey.
Is it
No,
not?
we talked about this during Iron Man. No, we talked about this before. I don't remember actually which movie it is now.
I don't remember what. It should be Rhodey, but for some reason
it should be Rhodes, where like Tony's trying to find the best doctors for it and all that. But
yeah,
like, I don't know if they had like planned something and then it like things got shifted or whatever, but that line is definitely written to be Rhodes, to be Rhodey.
Yeah.
And they've since been like, oh no, that wasn't Rhodey, that was another person.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
That's a wink wink nudge nudge. Hey, you seen Civil War?
The date we see in the movie for this dinner is February 2nd, 2016, which would be pre-Civil War.
So they they fucked the timeline up, so they had to be like, actually, that's not what we meant. Even though that's clearly what they meant.
Dumb, but I'll allow it, I guess.
It's whatever, yeah.
So he crushes lower spine in some experimental armor. It could be the guy from Iron Man 2, from the Iron Man 2 hammer footage.
I did think about that, but that man's spine has been fucked for years.
Yeah, that means it would have been fucked for like fucking.
If that man is still alive, there's no fixing that shit.
Yeah, I don't know if his spine was crushed either. I think more like snapped in half.
Either snapped in half or like twisted 180 degrees to the point of
no one knows what happens in our armor, dude.
Connected by a thread.
True.
Maybe Hammer's armor was so bad that it fucked him up in a way we couldn't expect, Like he fucked up fucking it up.
We can't even comprehend how badly it fucked him up.
So next up is a 68-year-old woman with an advanced brain injury. Strange doesn't want to screw up his perfect record.
Oh yeah. What a hero.
Last up is a 20-year-old female with an electronic implant in her brain to control schizophrenia, who was struck by lightning. He actually finds this one interesting, but as he's illegally passing by a car on the road by driving on the wrong side, he gets a message and looks down at his phone. As he's distracted, he nudges the car driving correctly and goes flying over the cliff and lands in the water.
There's this great shot when the car is going off the road and like when it crushes inward and his hands are on the steering wheel and
the dash literally juts forward and crushes his fingers. Oh
yeah,
God.
it swallows his fingers up and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah, like they really hammer home that that shit is fucked.
Yeah. And the effect looks good.
Yeah.
We see flashes of him in the hospital and his surgery, and when he wakes up, his hands are immensely fucked up. Instead of being grateful to be alive, he's upset that they messed up somehow.
I love that they don't shy away that Dr. Stephen Strange is a fucking asshole. Like kind of to the point of being unlikable, Yeah, I really like it.
He's got 11 stainless steel pins in his bones, multiple torn ligaments, and severe nerve damage in both of his hands. We kind of montage through some healing of the healing process as the bandages come off. See, his hands are incredibly shaky. You ruined me. Shut up. He's willing to spend as much money and as many experimental treatments as he needs to fix his hands. And he does his exercise with his hands. He's like trying to stretch them out, trying to see how much strength is in them. And he really calls this guy helping him bachelor's degree. Like, what a fucking what an asshole.
He's a douche.
God,
that guy has a great line though. After that,
yeah.
Strange asks if he ever met someone with nerve damage just severe that actually recovered. The guy says that he knows one. A guy in a factory accident that broke his back and was paralyzed from the waist down. He did these treatments 3 times a week until one day he stopped coming a few years ago. But eventually, this guy walked down this man on the street. Surprised him, I bet. Strange asked for his file.
Yeah, can you fucking imagine? You just, oh god, I can't, like, being in that scenario and seeing that person, like, just fucking walk by you. You, like,
Yeah.
You have a crisis of faith. You're like,
I would probably think that, like, I had just seen a ghost.
Yeah. I don't even know how I deal with that.
Let's find out.
What? What do you mean?
So Strange consults with many doctors, but can't find one who will work on him. They have their own reputations to consider, right? Doesn't feel good, huh,
yeah,
Steven?
the callback.
Doesn't feel good, huh?
The fucking I'm not gonna ruin my perfect record shit coming back to bite him right in the ass.
Characters seeing fucking seeing consequences.
Yeah,
wow.
being on the other side of that shit ain't fun.
Yeah.
So he's heard about this new procedure in Tokyo and just needs a loan of like, $200,000, you know?
Yeah, just a little bit of money, you know?
He's flat broke right now, though.
Maybe if you sold this Manhattan apartment, you could,
Yeah.
I don't know, get the 200,000.
It's a really nice apartment, though. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you can fucking move.
I don't think he's gonna have a choice very shortly.
Yeah, he doesn't, but like, if he'd been smarter about it, he would have had the 200K for this shit.
Yeah. Well, I also, we're about to get into it, but when Christine shows up, she's like, you've spent money. You've always spent money as fast as you could make it. Like, I definitely get the impression he's never been the kind of guy to put some money away for a rainy day.
Oh, absolutely the fuck not. You saw that collection of fucking watches, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And the spinning fucking display?
Yeah, the spinning LED drawer full of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's in they're not even, people can't even see them. They're in a drawer.
Could have just gotten addicted to Funko Pops. Would have been cheaper.
True. I love to see that movie.
Because there's some Funkos out there that are actually insane.
I guess that's true. I don't know. I guess you'd need to pay more for storage, right? You think
he'd buy like big pops and like mini pops and like plush pops?
I think he'd stick with the regular ones, but he would like always shell out for the super expensive, like 1 out of 30 Comic-Con exclusive fucking bullshits. He would have like the LED shelf of those Funkos.
What happens when he buys a Doctor Strange Funko Pop and it's himself?
He doesn't become Doctor Strange in this universe.
Oh, okay.
In this universe, they call him Doctor Strange because he's very surgical in how well he keeps his Funkos maintained.
Anyways, Christine comes in and...
Are you gonna recap now? Go ahead.
Christine comes in and is like, hey, how are you? And he's like, everything sucks. My life is awful. And she's like, you could look on the bright side. And he's like, I can't. She's like, don't you have other things to live for? And he's like what? Like you?
Okay, Shawn, I'm gonna stop you right there.
Okay, go on.
Because I have the quote. All right.
Thank you.
Christine comes in and she tells him that maybe it's time to stop. Maybe it's time to give up on getting his hands fixed. And she says, life without work. Well, he says life without work. And she says, it's still life. This isn't the end. There are other things that can give your life meaning. And he goes, like what? Like you? And she's like, and he says a bunch of other mean shit. And then she's like, this is the part where you apologize. And he said, this is the part where you leave.
We're really speed running the drive the only person left who cares about you away bit of this movie. Like in a single scene, he does this irreparable fucking damage. And he has zero remorse about it, and it's fucked up.
It's really effectively done, though. Both acted, written, like...
Oh, the acting in it is phenomenal. Like they cut to Rachel McAdams, and I can see it in her face. Like, the fucking disgust and, pity. Like she says she doesn't pity him, but in reality, she kind of does.
He has a line during that tirade that I really like where he just is like, "You care so much, don't you?" And here we go. Are you ready? I'm gonna say something good about the sequel to this movie. I like that when we see Christine in Universe 838 in the sequel, like she's also, doing something good, helping people. It's like a consistent through line of Christine throughout the multiverse that she will always, find a way to do something good and hopeful.
Yep.
In opposition to Strange, who is self-centered and, selfish.
Fair enough.
So he tells her not to pity him. We're not friends, Christine. We're barely lovers. But you just love a sob story, don't you? And he yells and yells and yells. And she doesn't say anything. She just kind of leaves. So he gets the file on the paralyzed guy, fucking Pangborn. And which leads him to a New York basketball court. This guy remembers Strange, refusing to see him because he was untreatable. Pangborn tells him that he sat with gurus and was taken to mountaintops until he found his teacher. He tells him that he's looking for a place called Kamartaj. It makes all your honorable abilities for twice.
when you pair it with Wong, it's pretty crazy.
Also, Pangborn is played by Benjamin Bratt.
Who?
Benjamin Bratt, dude.
See,
Who?
I looked at this man, and my first thought was, is that John Leguizamo?
I see it.
This.
I see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Who's Benjamin Bratt?
He is an actor. Believe it or
Thanks,
not.
man. Very informative.
Thank you, Tyler. You're really helpful, dude.
So in Kathmandu, Nepal, Strange walks the streets looking for Kamartaj. He gets ejected when a mysterious hooded man hears him. Turns down an alley where he gets mugged. He tries to fight, but his hands are too damaged. Right when they grab the watch, the hooded man takes him down and leads Strange to Kamartaj.
Mordo is so fucking cool, dude. Oh God.
He's all right.
He's so I really like Mordo. A lot more in this than in any other like adaptation I've seen, or even the comics of Baron Mordo. I think Chiwetel Ejiofor does a fucking incredible job.
Oh, I'm not knocking his performance. His performance in this role is fantastic. I just don't have a lot of experience with Mordo outside of the MCU.
Yeah.
And like as far as this role, he has his moments in this movie.
I always think
in
of Mordo
comics,
from
Mordo is kind of just like, like a comic book. He's a villain. He's just bad. He does what villains do. He hangs out with demons and he takes Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the comics, his whole backstory is just like, I'm evil. Like, I was training with the Ancient One and I wanted to kill him because I'm evil. And they really do a lot to make his backstory work better in this.
So they arrive at this random door across from a temple. Strangers think this is the place. And of course Mordo goes, I once stood in your place, and I too was disrespectful. He tells Strange to forget everything he thinks he knows, and they enter the sanctuary of the Ancient. He thanks the guy sitting at the table. Forget the guy's name at this point. Master something. Starts with an H.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I've also forgotten it.
Believing he's the Ancient One, when the real one comes out, played by Tilda Swinton.
Tilda Swinton's so fucking good in this movie.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Strange asks about Pangborn. Strange still thinks this is all medical stuff when he's told this is spiritual. The Ancient One is like clearly messing with him at this point.
Mm-hmm.
As he falls to a little bit into despair about healing through belief. Strange gets to yelling. He does his thing. He starts yelling. And then is promptly pushed out of his physical form and enters the astral dimension.
God. Astral projection looks so fucking cool, dude.
Oh, it does.
Pretty cool effect. I'm glad Mordo was there to catch his body. She tells him to open his eye and sends him through the universe with some of the craziest visuals just some of the nuttiest visuals we've ever seen, you know?
Man, we see so many cool different dimensions. I really hope that whenever they get around to Doctor Strange 3, we get to see some exploration of some of these other like places that he's kind of falling through.
Yeah, like specifically the weirdo dimensions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say one regret that I had about this movie is that I only watched it the once for note taking. At some point, I need to watch this movie while I'm high. I feel like that's an experience all its own, especially with that one scene.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just gonna be honest. There's nothing in Multiverse of Madness that looks as good as this.
That was your one.
They sort of try to replicate this scene, because I remember distinctly being in the theater and looking at that and going, "Holy shit, they did that again!"
Yeah,
and I like the idea of it, especially since that one is called Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just better executed here, because here it's like the mania of just constantly falling into shit that you don't understand for a solid like 3 minutes.
He falls into like the cave that has a bunch of his face on the wall, and then the face is turned to his hands, a bunch of fucking hands, and his hands sprout hands, and they cover him and turn back into his face.
Yeah, and then you have like the very distorted, like echoing voices of Mordo and the Ancient One discussing about like, you know, his heart rate's too high. You need to fucking pull him out of it. She drags him back long enough to be like, no, he looks fine, and then knocks his ass back into next week.
Yeah, at least they sat him down. At least, you know.
Yeah, I love, you know, I always associate Doctor Strange with like the weirdest shit in the Marvel universe, and I feel like I would say this is like one of the only scenes so far that he's been in the MCU where I've really felt that across all of his appearances. Like, this is where it's like, okay, this is some weird fucking shit.
So, it's funny because I think this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go for
it. It's funny because I think this movie sort of nails it on the first try with like what Doctor Strange is kind of about. I don't have much experience with him outside of the MCU. Like, I saw an animated adaptation of his origin story years ago, but this feels very in line with the vibes you should get from a Doctor Strange story.
I think Scott Derrickson nailed it. Like, what, you know, this isn't me talking about Multiverse of Madness, but on the behind the scenes of Multiverse of Madness, whatever happened between Feige and Derrickson, or Marvel and Derrickson, or whatever, like, I don't know. It's copium, but like, it'd be cool if they got him back for the third one. Now that maybe they're willing to push the envelope a little bit further, it seems, than when they were working on Multiverse of Madness.
So the Ancient One says, this universe is only one of an infinite number. Worlds without end. Some benevolent and life-giving. Others filled with malice and hunger. So when she says the benevolent one, we actually see the quantum realm.
Oh, really?
Shit.
It's the exact same visual as when Scott went in there during Ant-Man 1.
That's cool.
Fuck.
And then, of course, malice and hunger. It's the dark dimension. We see Dormammu.
Ooh.
Yep.
It says, who are you in this vast multiverse, Mr. Strange?
Yeah, they throw around the multiverse word a lot.
Yeah, they say it a lot. And sometimes I'm like, are you sure you mean that? Or
they definitely are using it to mean something different than what we're dealing with in the MCU right now.
Well, yeah, because this was still 2016. We didn't have any ideas of where we were going with that. But I do like that the seeds, especially of Doctor Strange engaging with the multiverse, are being planted this early. I think that's really important.
So Strange comes back to his body, falls out the chair. He asks, he's like, please teach me. And she goes,
well, sorry,
no.
I love his line delivery here. Like, he comes out, he's just on his knees, and he's like, all he says is, teach me. And it's like the most desperate line delivery.
Yeah.
And I think, man, it's really, really good.
Then she says no. And kicks him out. Strange reminds her of Caecilius, and she won't lead another gifted student to power only to lose them to the darkness.
camera's like focusing on Mordo while this is happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mordo says that she helped him. He tells her that maybe Kamartaj could use someone like Strange. Back outside, Strange slumps against the door until he's finally let in. Mordo tells him to bathe and rest until the Ancient One sends for him.
We're glossing over the fact that he was at that door begging for over 5 hours. It was like noon, maybe 1 in the afternoon when he got there. It is now night.
He's still gonna go a little bit longer, really test his resolve. Mordo hands him a little card with the word Shambhala on it. What's this, my mantra? The Wi-Fi password. We're not savage.
What a good fucking line.
I think this movie's also really funny.
Yeah.
Strange pulls out his broken watch to look at it, and on the back of the words, "Time will tell how much I love you. Christine." The only watch he didn't sell. Also, how much is right now not at all. The Ancient One, which I've abbreviated to Tau in my notes, starts to teach Strange about spells. They harness energy drawn from the dimension of the other dimensions of the multiverse to do all sorts of stuff. He asks her how he gets from where he is now to where she is, and the short answer is get good, study, practice, the basic stuff. He goes to the library. He meets, you guessed it, a librarian named Wong.
My
The
fucking
main
guy.
character.
Let's go.
Played by
main character,
Benedict Wong.
dude. Oh my god.
I love Wong.
And he returns 4 large books that he finished, including Keith Solomon and the Book of the Invisible Sun. Wong takes him to a more exclusive section of the library and suggests that he starts with Maxim's Primer and asks him about his Sanskrit. The best Strange got is Google Translate. Strange eyes the Ancient One's private collection. The books aren't forbidden, but certain practices are. He grabs the book of Cagliostro, A Study of Time. And Wong tells them a little bit about Caecilius and also threatens his life. He's like, if you take a book, you're not going to fucking make it out of here. Speaking of Caecilius, we cut to him, and he starts performing this ritual with his lackeys as they all give him new power and they chant. And this is the dark magic of Dormammu in the dark universe. What's it called? The dark dimension.
I think it's the dark dimension, yeah.
It's the dark dimension.
The dark universe is the Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, oh my god, it is. Fuck, I forgot that was a real thing that they were gonna do for a while.
Yeah, for about 10 minutes.
Remember that trailer that just didn't have sound?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's pretty crazy. They really let that one slide. So Strange continues to train, but he's not producing any magic unlike the others. And now it's time to learn about the sling ring, which has to be like magic training wheels or something, right? Like it's not. Is it only used for transportation? It feels kind of weird.
Seemingly.
But it lets them travel throughout the multiverse. And here in my notes, I said they sure are using that word a lot. I don't think that's what they meant. So long as they focus. They do the hand thing, but Strange can't conjure one. He's only getting sparks. Strange thinks this is because of his hands, but the Ancient One has Master Amir, wrote his name down.
There we go.
Has him do it, and he only has one hand. So, what's up,
Skill
Strange?
issue.
He tells him to silence his
Legitimate
ego,
skill issue.
and then leads him to Mount Everest through a portal, and fucking leaves him there. This also isn't the first time she's done this.
Yeah, dude, this seems so good. Not again.
I literally wrote down that Mordo's "oh no, not again" implies that this is her way of solving the problem students thing. This is just her method. I do not want to imagine. Where's the deleted scene where Doctor Strange looks over at this exact spot, looks like down the cliff a little bit, and there's like a pile of bodies of the students who didn't figure it out?
Well, I mean, it's Mount Everest. They wouldn't be out of place,
I mean, but like specifically
Tyler?
in the Camartage robes.
Well, John, it's just a fact of life, dude. People die up there.
Did you also know that
dangerous thing
people
to
die
do.
when they're killed? Fun fact.
Damn,
What?
that's crazy. That's nuts. That's insane. Are you serious?
I need to re-edit that image, but instead of the dude from Fate, it's Doctor Strange.
So, Strange eventually makes it back. First step is done. He shaves, and now looks a little more like the Strange we know. No more baby face, no more scraggly man. Look clean. He wants a book on astral projection, but Wong says Strange isn't ready. Try me, Beyonce. Wong isn't amused, and also won't give him the book. Later that night, Strange uses portals to take the books, but when we cut to him, he's asleep in his bed. But he's actually reading in his astral form.
When he takes the book, isn't that when Single Ladies is playing?
Yeah,
yes, because Wong is listening to Beyonce, like, on his iPod.
But it's a good joke because, like, because he calls Wong Beyonce, and Wong is like, "Who's that?" And then later on, we see him listening to Beyonce. So
I don't think Wong even does, like, the "Who is that?" I think Wong just is stone-faced, and it's sort of implied.
Said who.
No, he.
I thought he was. I thought he was like
cause...
explicitly fucking with Strange at that point.
But I thought so too. But
I probably just missed it.
I don't think he even like responds to him when he's doing that. Because earlier he also does the fucking, you know what, like Adele, Drake, Eminem, all that shit.
Also remember, Shawn, according to She-Hulk lore, Wong worked at a Target.
Oh, I believe that he knows all these things. I just thought he was fucking with Strange.
I believe he is.
I absolutely believe he's fucking with Strange. I think he just heard the man say Beyonce.
Yeah, okay. No, yeah.
Shit. And then in his brain, he went, I should listen to that album again later.
Yeah. I misheard it. I thought I heard him say what or who about Beyonce specifically. Sorry.
So Strange is advancing pretty quick. So the Ancient One introduces him to the Mirror Dimension. The Mirror Dimension. It's like a pocket space that doesn't affect the real world. They use it to train, surveil, even contain threats. And being in the mirror dimension without lingering is dangerous.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
But Strange is a little hung up on the threats part. On the training field, Strange asks Mordo about how old the Ancient One is, but no one knows the age of her. But she is Celtic, though. They spar while Mordo explains the backstory of this villain that we've seen twice, named Caecilius. And he talks about when he came to Carmartage, he had lost everyone he loved and was looking for answers in the mystic arts. Shit. He questioned a lot and rejected the teachings of the Ancient One. Eventually went rogue, and a bunch of his lackeys followed suit. Mordo grabs a relic imbued with magic, called the Staff, the Living Tribunal. There's also the Wanda Watum, which we see Wong holding later. The Vaulting Boots of Voltor. Strange will get his relic when the relic decides he's ready. But they finish up training, and later that night, Strange writes an email to Christine. Before running to the library to read the Book of Cagliostro. He sees a page about the Eye of Agamotto and checks to see if Wong is nearby. And when the coast is clear, he grabs it. He opens the eye and uses its power to turn back time on the apple he ate. Then goes back forward. Then back again. It's rotten. It's a pretty cool effect. He gets the idea to reverse time on the ripped pages of the book. And when they reform, he learns about Dormammu, the Dark Dimension, eternal life. Mordo and Wong come in to stop him, because tampering with this time shit is forbidden. They can create branch timelines. We don't want the TVA to get involved.
Yeah, I literally wrote that down, because it's interesting that even this far back, we're sort of planting seeds of what would later end up getting used for Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Especially considering his next cameo after this in the MCU.
And I mean, if you think about it, like, Loki's supposed to come out initially in 2020. So, like, I bet they kind of had an idea of where they wanted to go by the time they were doing this movie. Like 4 years ahead.
That.
I feel like maybe not like specifically, this is going to matter to a Loki TV show. But I bet they knew that after Thanos, they wanted to do multiverse stuff.
Well, yeah, of course. Of course, multiverse stuff. Yeah. But Loki's less multiverse stuff and more just timeline shenanigans.
Yeah. I'm not saying like specifically that they were like, we're gonna make the Loki show in 4 years. Just that the same ideas that they were going to eventually play with in Loki were probably starting to permeate
No, I get
around
what
the
you're saying.
creation of this movie.
I don't quite think it came about this early, but I think like probably around maybe Infinity War era, they probably went back and looked at stuff and went, "What could we do to do like some neat shit?" And they probably went back and were like, "Time shit." And
Doctor Strange is gonna be pretty integral to this movie. How about we check out what happened in that movie and we pull some stuff from that.
Why do you do this, Tyler? I give you the space to keep talking.
So he gets the idea to reverse time.
You fucking goddamn it,
Sean, you have to know that whenever you point it out, he's gonna cut you the fuck off.
Good. That means he starts talking again.
Do you know the definition of insanity, Sean?
I'm glad, because then at least he continues talking.
You're glad you're insane? What the fuck?
Yes.
So, basically, he's like, hey, you don't want to mess with this time stuff. You could, like, get trapped in a time loop or never exist at all. Strange, like, they should really put the warning before the spell. But Strange was born for the mystic arts. He's doing spells that others can't even attempt to understand thanks to his photo memory. They also let him continue to wear the Eye of Agamotto for some reason.
So, yeah, like, you know after what they caught him doing, I don't know why they would, but good for him, I guess.
Yeah. Just let him get away with it. So they take Strange to the room where they tell him what it is exactly sorcerers do. They protect the world from mystical threats as opposed to the physical ones, like what the Avengers take care of. We learn that Agamotto was the father of sorcery and built 3 sanctums in places of power: Hong Kong, New York, London. And together they actually put up a shield around the world. The sorcerers protect the world from other dimensional beings. We learn that Dormammu lives in the dark dimension beyond time and wants to bring all worlds into the dark dimension. Strange is trying to like peace out. He's like, hey, this isn't what I signed up for. But right on cue, Caecilius and his goons attack the London sanctum. They destroy it. And Strange ends up in the New York sanctum after being blasted through the door. He looks around the place and comes to a room with like 3 doors that all lead to different environments that you can change by like twisting a knob. That'll come into play later. He comes into an artifact room and sees like a floating cape around, but eventually hears Caecilius and crew come in and they kill the master of the sanctum. How long have you been at Carmartage, Mr. Doctor? Mr. Doctor? It's strange. Maybe. Who am I to judge? Strange fights them in a very non-conventional way. He's not like making like real magic weapons or anything, but he's holding his own, I guess.
He's got like his little whip.
Yeah, his little whip. But they beat him up until Strange pushes his lackeys into the doorways and turns the knobs. Now it's just him and Caecilius. Strange picks up an object that he doesn't know how to use, and then gets thrown into a lot of glass until the cape from earlier stops him from being stabbed and saves him from the fall. Now Strange can fly. The cape wants Strange to use this weird contraption, but Strange resists for maybe a little bit longer than he should have. But eventually he throws these things on the Caecilius, and they have a little conversation. Caecilius wants to bring the world to the dark dimension so that it won't have to die and everyone can live forever. The true enemy of us all is time. Time kills everything. Time is a cage. He says that everyone came to Carmartage to be healed, but the real magic is kept by the Ancient One. He asks Strange if he knows how she stayed alive this long, which plants those seeds of doubt. Caecilius has kept talking long enough for one of his boys to come in, stab Strange, throw him down the stairs, and then the cape like goes ham on this guy. And Strange portals himself to the hospital. He asks for Christine, and they go into the operating theater, and she's gonna have to save his life. His heart rate's low, but he pops into his astral form to help Christine operate. He asks him what he was stabbed with, but he doesn't know. Like dark mirror dimension power? I don't know. Like a weird crystal knife. The cape still fucking the dude up. But the guy goes into his astral form and enters the hospital. They have an astral form fight around Christine. Well, things like kind of move around her, like nothing too bad. But then he flatlined. But the defib gives him like a burst of power or something. And so he has her up the voltage and do it again. And he uses this surge to evaporate that guy. He tells Christine that he wrote her emails, but she never responded. And she gives a pretty normal response of, "Why would I?" He apologizes for being an asshole, though. He tells her about his travels to Kathmandu. Christine says that he basically joined a cult. He tells her what's happening, but of course the only way she'll believe it if she sees it. And so she sees the portal, and he has to go back. He goes back to the sanctum, and the goon is dead, but Caecilius is gone. Mordo and the Ancient One are here, though. They remark on how the cloak of levitation chose Strange, which is remarkable because it's really finicky. Strange tells them that Caecilius can bend reality without the mirror dimension. The Ancient One says that the London Sanctum is done. It's gone. Destroyed. Only New York and Hong Kong are left. She asks if he'll take up the role of Master of the New York Sanctum, but he gets hung up on the name thing again. He swore to save lives, not take them. Even if he would openly refuse to work on patients. Strange starts to question him about the source of her immortality and claims that she draws power from Dormammu to be immortal.
Bum, bum, bum.
Mordo and Strange get into an argument, and Mordo calls him a coward for not mustering up the courage to take the fight to them. You saved your own life, and then whined about it like a wounded dog. Oh, you would have done it so easily. You've no idea the things I've done. And the answer is yes, without hesitation. Caecilius comes back with his goons, and they almost destroy the sanctum until they're brought into the mirror dimension. And then they have to run because actually, funny thing, the mirror dimension makes them stronger. That's crazy.
I love that. I love that Mordo's like, God damn it. I'm with an idiot. We're both gonna die.
This is suicide, Strange. You've killed me.
You've killed me. Not just yourself. Me.
So they book it. They run. The old Joestar technique. They fucking dip. But before they can run through a portal, they get slammed into a bus where we see Stan Lee reading the Doors of Perception. They try to make a portal out, but Caecilius is always stopping them every step of the way in this visually wacky chase. It looks nutty. Eventually, Caecilius takes Strange's sling ring and tries to stab him, but the Ancient One comes in and saves them. And what do you know? The rumors are true. She actually does draw power from the Dark Dimension. She and Caecilius, with his goons, square off, but he stabs her while she's blocking an attack and kicks her back into the real world, where she hits the ground pretty hard. Strange and Mordo rushes to the hospital where Strange lets Nick hold a knife. He lets Nick hold the knife.
Sorry, is there anything you wanted to say about that, Tyler?
Strange lets Nick.
Yeah.
Nick West.
Yeah.
Nicomedes West.
Yeah.
Is his full name.
Yeah.
Hold the knife.
Uh-huh.
Because he can't do it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yep.
That's just pretty crazy.
Should we maybe hold on to that for later? Is that relevant? Is that what you're saying? That like
is it relevant? Absolutely not.
Not right now, but like maybe in the future
no,
we
never.
should.
No, it'll never be relevant.
We shouldn't. Maybe this could inform.
I think we should move on.
Things in the future.
I think we shouldn't linger on this anymore.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I was just wondering. Tyler's just putting a lot of emphasis on it. I wasn't entirely sure what he was.
Sometimes Tyler does quirky things like putting emphasis on a sentence that has absolutely no meaning and
You're right.
bearing
That's
on
true.
the rest of this movie.
That's true. Or the future.
Right. Or the future. Or the future. I just think it's crazy.
A lot of headaches. I can feel it.
Strange physically let him hold the knife. No magic involved. That's just crazy. So he goes into his astral form and he sees the Ancient One, and they go have a talk. He says that she spent a lot of years looking through time, and at this moment, but she can't look past this moment. No matter how many terrible futures she prevents, they all lead here. This is where she dies. She never saw Strange's future. He tells him that he has a huge capacity for good, but his arrogance, fear keep him from learning that it's not all about him.
God, I love this scene between the two of them is probably my favorite one in the
What a good lesson
in the movie.
You know?
I love it. Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up. The lightning coming down slowly, and she has a line of,
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Jesus, Shawn. You can't just skip forward like that, dude.
I thought we were there. I thought we were done with this scene.
No, we're in this moment, not that moment.
Oh, okay.
So she tells him that Pangborn basically just uses magic to walk. He's actually not healed. He's just using magic. Which is basically what he said when he talked. He was like, yo, I learned some shit there. I wasn't really up for whatever came after that. So I dipped. I left. Strange could have his old life back if he wanted to. But the Ancient One says he doesn't like drawing power from the dark dimension, but sometimes you gotta break a few eggs. Make an omelet. Moro won't see it that way, but they need to work together to defeat Dormammu. His death is what gives life meaning. After all this time, you'd think I'd be ready, but look at me, stretching one moment out into 1,000, just so I can watch the snow.
Oh, it's so good.
Because she is dead.
That's a great fucking line.
Yeah. Oh, man. I like what she says. I like the conversation they have about drawing on the dark dimension, whether it's whether drawing on a little bit of the darkness is acceptable or whether Mordo is right. I hope that that's an idea that they explore in the third movie whenever they
I too like Kingdom Hearts, and I hope they go into those themes.
Yeah.
So Strange now solemnly washing his hands while he and Christine have a little moment that ends in a kiss on the cheek. Mm-hmm. Prepares and flips his collar up, and the cloak kind of wipes his face.
Tyler, how would you define the relationship at this point?
Vague.
Interesting. Okay.
So in Hong Kong, K-Dog and the crew come through to take out the Hong Kong sanctum.
Nobody has ever called Caecilius K-Dog before. That was an original thought that you had, Tyler. I'm proud of you.
So inside the sanctum, Wong and everyone in there are armoring up. They gotta defend the sanctum. But there's a little cameo in here you might not have noticed in that sanctum. Do either of you know who I'm talking about?
No.
All right, there's a person in the background.
Oh.
When Wong is getting everyone ready.
Oh, is this an actress that gets reused?
No. It is this woman here with this staff.
Oh, that's Nico's staff.
It is Nico's staff.
That's Nico's mom.
This woman is, yes.
Oh, shit.
Minoru.
Yeah.
And that is the staff of one.
That really does. There's no good way to square that hole with with the Runaways. There's no good way to square that hole. The Runaways absolutely does not depict anything close to what like the staff is similar, but in no way is Nico's mom in Runaways a wizard of Camertage in the show, that is. I hope they bring Nico into the MCU proper at some point. I like the Runaways a lot. I think they're a cool cast of characters.
So back with Strange, he meets up with Mordo. I want the little robot kid. I forget his name, but he's like the son of Ultron. I forget his.
You okay?
So he meets with Mordo, whose morals are absolutely shaken.
Yeah, he's not doing okay.
She taught them that the dark dimension was forbidden, while she drew from its life. He drew from it to steal centuries of life. The bill comes due.
Oh,
She blames Caecilius on her. He blames Caecilius on her. Strange begs Mortal to help defeat them, and they head to Hong Kong. But when they get there, Sanctum already gone, already fallen. And the dark dimension is rising to the ground. Strange uses the Eye of Agamotto to reverse everything. He breaks Mortal out of it, and they head to stop the destruction. K-Man breaks out too, and of course, the fight in the reversing time.
Dude,
it's
funny.
It's so good.
It's really cool too.
Also, I'm sure the Eye of Agamotto isn't like relevant to the MCU overall, right? This is just a cool magic little thing that can reverse time out of nowhere, right?
Dude, it's just a cool amulet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
No.
It's a nice bling.
Infinity Stones? Bro,
no,
it's
hey, nobody.
And we're enjoying a cool Marvel movie.
Nobody said anything about any sort of infantinal stones, all right? I don't know what you're... This is just a cool... I like when that one girl gets sucked up into the water tank. I think that's cool. It's a fun fight.
Yeah, they fight. Morto's like, he's like, oh, maybe I should do this useful thing, throwing them into things that are being constructed, like tanks and walls and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Strange sees Wong, breaks him out of reverse, and he's like, breaking the laws of nature. I know. Like, well, don't stop now.
Yeah, dude. I love Wong so
Wong
much.
is such a real one for that shit.
And he's been like that since day one. It's so good.
I love him.
So K Sleazy breaks out and stops time altogether. Just freezes the whole fucking
Did you
thing.
just call this motherfucker K Sleazy?
K Sleazy.
Guy Sizzle.
So Strange flies into the dark dimension until he finds Dormammu, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. But before they chat, he activates the Eye of Agamotto's powers. Dormammu have come to bargain.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
I know people meme about this scene now because it's a funny scene, but it's so fucking cool. It's so cool, and it's such a good way to solve the problem of this movie that isn't just, I'm gonna punch you really hard. It's like the character actually doing something fucking cool and in character and like with their skill set. Oh god,
after his breakdown of like, I swore an oath never to harm people, I think this is the perfect resolution for a character like Strange, who isn't really gonna compromise on that sort of ideal, but who's learned that he does need to, protect people.
Yeah.
Because as a doctor, your job is to help others, but as a sorcerer, your job is to defend people who can't. And this shit is fucking phenomenal. I love this shit.
He can't kill, but he can die over and over again.
Yeah, he can't kill, but if he's the one being killed, that doesn't break his morals.
Yeah. Oh god.
So D-Money isn't having any of this. He just kills Strange.
Shut the fuck up.
Turns him to ashes. And then another Strange pops out.
And that was killing me.
Dude, are we gonna give the little bit of trivia about D-Money?
What little trivia?
Who plays him?
Yeah, I said it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I fucking did.
I was going through my notes. I was seeing if there was anything I hadn't brought up. Damn. Oops. Oh, that was one of the notes I hadn't brought up. I can cross that out.
So D-Biscuit's a little confused as another Strange comes out. And he's like, you've come to wait a minute. What the fuck? What are you doing here? And so they're both trapped in this moment for as long as they have to. And as long as they are, Earth is safe. It's like, you can't do this forever. Actually, I can. That's actually the whole fucking point, Dormammu.
Yeah. Like, my guy doesn't know about the consequences of the Eye of Agamotto? Look at this fucking loser.
Time really is a cage. So, Strange is there. He gets killed over and over again. Probably for a long time. Like, maybe years.
Yeah, we really only see the highlight reel. We don't actually know.
But this is a really creative ending to a conflict, as Dormammu is losing his fucking mind. He's like, please, just fucking let me out of this. You gotta stop. And then he finally gives in. Strange wants him to take his zealots from the world and stop his assault on Earth. Caecilius and the goons start dusting away and turning into like these weird creatures, and they're swooped into the dark dimension. Strange makes another joke about the warning coming after the spells, and Wong finally gives out a big laugh, while Strange reverses time the rest of the way. Battle's over. They won. Mordo, not happy that they violated the natural law. There will be consequences and a price to pay for this. The bill comes due. Always.
Oh. Yeah, always.
Always.
Yeah.
Mordo will no longer follow this path, and he walks away. And we'll never see this Mordo again. Back at Carmitage, though, Strange puts the Eye of Agamotto back, but Wong says he'll wear it once he's mastered its powers. Till that day, it's better not to walk around with an Infinity Stone. Dun 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 dun. Enemies will come for Earth.
What's an infantile stone? What are you talking about?
You know, one of those things.
Huh? I don't know what that is.
The fuck's the infiniting stone? Like, is that what your grandma uses to make sure she's got the quilt right? What the fuck?
It might be. It might be.
It really turns those bad boys out. The enemies will come for Earth now that the Ancient One is dead, so they need to prepare. Strange walks back into the New York Sanctum in front of the iconic window, and he puts on the watch that Christine gave him, and his hands still shake. And that's the end of the movie.
I love the shot of him standing in front of that window.
It's so good.
It's really ominous too with the score. It's very well done. I like it a lot.
So the mid-credit scene is Thor. He's here?
Yo, Thor!
And he's a little floored that Earth has wizards now. We see both him and Strange in the Sanctum, and Strange is wearing these dishwashing gloves. Yeah. They never pan down, but you can see the big stain of water on his midsection.
My man was washing dishes before Thor fucking walked in.
Strange says that he keeps a watch list of threats, and Loki is definitely one of those threats. So why did Thor bring Loki to New York? Long story short, we're looking for Odin. Strange is like,
what?
You find him, he'll go home? Yes. All right, I'll help you. And then the post-credit scene. We have Pinkborn. He's working in like a garage or something. When a hooded man, aka Mordo, walks in, talk to him. He says some pretty ominous words about the true purpose of a sorcerer. And then he takes away Pinkborn's magic. And Pinkborn falls to the ground. And it says, because I see at long last what is wrong with this world. Too many sorcerers.
Too many cooks.
Please don't remind me of Too Many Cooks right now. That's
Too many
into my brain for the rest of the fucking day now. Thanks, Shawn.
You're welcome.
It takes a lot to make a stew. When it's not just me and you.
All right, do we want to...
What a great post-credit scene.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sad about the mid-credits, because, again, scene lifted from a future movie.
Yeah.
I wish that we had at least gotten them in the costumes, maybe in the Sanctum, doing something slightly different.
Yeah.
Like, if not a variation of the scene, then just, like, different dialogue.
Uh-huh. Nope.
Yeah.
Just a scene lifted from a future movie.
Yeah.
But we did get that cool post-credit scene. Very meaningful.
Yeah, the cool scene where a man who found an ability to overcome shit that life threw at him has that stolen away again, and he's lying there prone and paralyzed on the ground.
Yeah.
Very cool scene.
Yeah, it's a great, Mordo's a really Mordo's a big threat. We're going to have to deal with that.
He is one of the Doctor Strange's main villains.
Yeah.
So.
And
he
look
sure
what he's
is
doing.
a big recurring threat.
Yeah, I mean,
The sequel's
Smile.
gonna go nutty when
Strange is really gonna have to, him and Strange, they're gonna have a long history together.
They're gonna have
Soon.
some vicious battles in
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah,
Truly.
soon, really soon. And you know what? We might not see them all, but
yeah,
at some point we'll have to see one, right?
Will
we?
He
Right?
he definitely won't almost get written to death.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. He's not gonna get his head cut off. It might almost happen, but it's not gonna happen. They might have written it.
Whew.
They might have shot it, but don't worry, it doesn't happen.
All right, so let's talk about the swears.
Language.
Pretty interesting thing today.
I'm excited for this one.
Oh,
movie
wow.
Only has
Damn.
7 swear words.
I'm really not surprised though, because while I was watching, or not while I was watching, but after, when I was like, man, how many swears are there? Like,
Well,
yeah.
considering who some of the worst offenders in the MCU are, this shouldn't be as shocking as
Yeah.
it is. But
yeah,
I figured we'd at least hit like 7 or 8.
man.
We hit 7. So
Just say 8 or 9. Say 8 or 9, should we? Really quick. Just say 8 or 9.
I figured we'd hit 8 or 9. He's not going to
Yeah,
edit
yeah,
that
yeah,
out.
yeah.
He's going to keep my mistakes for everyone listening, but it's fine.
Hang on, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'll use the Eye of Agamotto.
Could have sworn we'd have at least 8 or 9.
There we go. You guys don't know the future that I came from, but it was bad. Okay.
you're right, it was bad. We didn't talk enough about Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, that you came from the future where I wasn't here to mediate.
Yeah. Tyler, how many times did you have Multiverse of Madness in your notes and you didn't say anything?
Actually, wasn't that much.
Okay.
Pleasant surprise.
So, I mean, if you really want to, Shawn, we could talk about the whole relationship thing, because clearly.
Not on the podcast. I don't want to talk about that on the podcast.
All right, so the swears. Again, only 7 of them. So at 1541, Dr. Stephen Vincent Strange says.
Bullshit. Show me his file.
At 1544, the physical therapist says.
It take me a while to pull the files from the archive, but if it proves your arrogant ass wrong, worth it.
King shit, dude.
Based.
Love that guy.
At 2906, Stephen Strange says.
Honestly, yeah, I would too.
Same, dude.
At 10853, Christine Palmer says.
No shit.
At 11056, Stephen Strange says.
You're a complete asshole. I treated you so horribly, and you did.
At 11106, Christine says.
I mean, what the hell is happening?
And finally, at 11709, Stephen Strange says.
Who's laughing now, asshole?
Yo, he says asshole bullshit?
The asshole, the bullshit true combo? Let's go.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. So let's just get an update on the list here. Ranking by numbers where it's said.
Oh god.
So for this movie, only 3 people swore. Doctor Strange is sitting at 4. To place him along with Dave from Ant-Man. Christine Palmer is sitting at 2. But they're, pretty low on the list. And the physical therapist adds on to the NPC list, which makes them at 13. Top 5 is looking like Tony Stark, the NPCs, Steve Rogers, Nick Fury, and then Clint Barton and Sam Wilson are tied 10 apiece.
Damn, Steve's slacking.
Yeah, he's trying to be modest, but,
That's not
Yeah.
the America's ass I know.
True.
All right, let's move on to the connection. On the board, on the mini board, as it squeaks its way in, we have the Quantum Realm. You don't.
It is
I
squeaky noise.
put
I
a
tried to
noise
do-
in there.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
I've
I
never
put a
listened to
squeaky
this
noise.
Fuck yeah.
podcast. I've never, not once have I
Shawn,
listened
I do
to
a lot
this
of work.
podcast.
I do a lot of work.
I believe you. Now.
Yeah, the work that goes in that you put in, Tyler, I fucking appreciate that shit.
Yeah. You put way too much work into this for the level that Shibuya and I do.
Well, you can just edit it all and make all the accents. And...
Yeah. Take all the 4-hour notes and. You okay?
So we see the Quantum Realm, of course, from Ant-Man. We see the Avengers compound, the Avengers tower, at least what it used to be last seen in Age of Ultron. We see Thor and Loki. Thor last seen in Age of Ultron. Loki last seen in the Dark World. And there really aren't any other connections than that. Which
What are you
means
talking about? They mentioned Rhodey.
You're right. There might be a connection to Iron Man 2.
You'll have to
Or-
do like a question mark line there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm not doing that. But for the big board, of course, connects to Dark World, connects to Age of Ultron, connects to Ant-Man. Boom, bam, bam. We're done.
And
There we
maybe
go.
Civil War, because that's where, Brody. Uh-oh.
Brody. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Moving on.
Uh-oh.
Shawn,
Yeah.
where do you rank this movie?
This movie I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. And on my list, it is number 5, above Ant-Man, but right below Civil War.
All right. Shibuya, where do you rank this movie?
I actually ended up ranking this movie an 8.5, which actually ties it with Guardians on my list, but
Ooh.
because my list is ordered in a way where I can't give things a joint place, I think as far as which I would prefer to rewatch, I think I'm gonna have to put this at number 4. So it goes just above Guardians, but with the same score, and then just under Iron Man 1 for me.
All right. And for me, this movie is pretty good, but I enjoy watching a lot of the other stuff better. So I put this movie at number 8, below Iron Man 3 and above Iron Man 2.
Still all around the same similar placement.
All right. Well, that does it for this episode of the podcast. Shibuya, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter, at Shibuya Gato. It's that easy.
Shawn?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at Shawn_AFK, and here next time, fighting the last battle of MCUnhinged, which is going to be Guardians of the
Shawn,
Galaxy Volume 2.
Again, I'm telling you, you can't keep skipping ahead. All
It's
right?
gonna be the last
This is the
battle.
last
That's,
fucking
I'm
time
saying
I'm
that's
gonna
where they
tell
can
you
find
that
me.
you
That's
just
where they can
can't-
find me. They
Are
can
you
find me here
saying that the
that.
podcast is over after Guardians 2?
No, it's just the last time we're gonna fight about a movie is all.
Oh, yeah, fair. Well, no. Motherfucker.
Because we
clearly
all
not true,
agree.
given the rule I had to have.
We all agree that there's a certain movie we can't name that is terrible, and so we won't have to fight about it.
Okay, I'm gonna need to rewatch it before I decide on the word terrible.
No, the word terrible is definitive in my
No, well, okay, well, here's the problem. When I went to go see that movie, who shall not be named, I went with a friend, and we went to a theater I'd never been to before. Worst fucking theater experience of my life. There were 2 crying babies. There was a pack of dudes behind us that just kept going messy, 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 like it's a funny joke, and it's not. I had to tell them to shut the fuck up. It was not a good experience, so I need to rewatch it in the comfort of my own home without people behind me shouting messy, messy, messy all the time to see if it's, like a 5 out of 10. I need to see.
Funnily enough, that's actually part of the experience that Marvel Studios wanted
I
you
don't
to
think she
have.
knows
They
that the messy part of the movie.
they actually those people will show up at your house whenever you watch the movie, just so that you can have the intended.
You're gonna see me as the next Florida woman on the news, found beating up a bunch of strangers that entered my home illegally. So stay tuned for that.
All right, you can find me on Twitch, and YouTube at Tyler Rims. YouTube's just for the VODs, and of course, where you can find this podcast as well. And also do another podcast with my friend Corn. We're talking about anime, JoJo Part 3. We're in the rough parts of JoJo Part 3, so we're trucking along. But as for this podcast, MCUnhinged, you can follow MCUnhinged on Twitter at MCUnhinged. You can also find us on Anchor at anchor.fm/MCU-unhinged. You can also find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and also if we're not in a place that you listen to, come over to the Anchor page, copy that RSS feed, plug it into your podcast app of choice, and we will pop up there regularly for you. All right, to add on to that pre-recorded bit that you just heard, because obviously it's pre-recorded. Also, again, you can watch this on YouTube. You can watch this on Spotify. You can leave comments on Spotify. You can rate on Spotify. Spotify has a lot of stuff. And also, make a comment or something. I read all of them because I don't have a life.
Oh,
outside of having to edit this podcast.
Hey, I mean, I do that too with my shit, so don't worry about it, man.
Shawn hates the fans, apparently, because he didn't say anything.
the fuck? Nobody ever says anything to me.
But yeah, that's it. Next time we're covering Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Gotta fight. It's gonna be a fight.
The best piece of Guardians content.
Get the fuck out of here. What are you fucking talking about? I don't have any funny stories. I have cool. Jonathan Hickman is bringing back the Ultimate Marvel Universe this summer. That's cool. Anybody care? Anybody?
I mean, I did see that, but I don't have context for like any of the Ultimate stuff.
Yeah. Well, you you actually kind of do. Because the MCU is very heavily based off of the Ultimate.
Okay.
So think of the MCU, but worse, unless it's Spider-Man. And that's the Ultimate Universe. Everything in the Ultimate Universe who isn't Peter Parker or Miles Morales sucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where.
Okay, so that's
the universe where Wanda and Pietro fuck, right? That's
yeah, that was in the Ultimates.
I'm sorry. Go back a minute. What
we don't
do you
have to.
mean?
We talked about this. We talked about this during Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
I
in the
blocked
Ultimate
this
Universe,
out for my own mental health. What the fuck?
the mainline, the Ultimates. They weren't called the Avengers in the Ultimate Universe. They were the Ultimates, and
that's like some Zack Snyder shit.
There's a panel in the first Ultimate comic book, written by Mark Millar, where where Hank beats his wife again, because we can't leave that behind. Can't leave that behind. It's like a really traumatic scene too. Like, he draws it. Also during that, during the Ultimates, the Hulk goes on a murderous rampage through Manhattan because Betty is on a date with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Like, straight up Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yeah, with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Explicitly named Freddie Prinze Jr., not just a lookalike.
No, explicitly named Freddie Prinze Jr.
He was fucking Fred
Got
in the
cucked
Scooby-Doo
by
movies.
Scooby-Doo's Fred. Holy shit.
I don't know if he'd done Scooby-Doo at that point.
It's funnier. It's funnier if we pretend he did, so I'm just going to imagine that he did.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible. Oh, yeah. This is what it is. So Hank forces Janet to shrink down into her wasp form and then sprays her with bug spray and attacks her with mind-controlled ants.
What?
Yeah. And they're like, that's not cool. So he runs away, and then Captain America goes after him and beats the shit out of him. And then Janet gets mad at Cap and defends Hank.
Oh, okay. So we're bringing this back, or is that what...
Yeah, but Jonathan Hickman is a good writer, so
yeah,
it'll be good.
He can
Jonathan,
write those scenes better.
Yeah, well, no, he hopefully won't write those scenes at all. But yeah, that's the Ultimate Universe.
This is just a lot to process all at once.
Yeah.
This
Ultimate
isn't even the main
Spider-Man,
topic, but
great.
goddamn.
Ultimate Spider-Man is really good, written by Brian Michael Bendis, drawn by Mark Bagley for like 130 issues. I think it's the longest a writer-artist duo has done a comic book ever.
Shit.
Great. And then obviously after, spoilers for the Ultimate Spider-Man, after Peter kicks the bucket.
Why'd you do a thwomp noise?
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
came out swinging with a fucking...
I don't know.
You can say he died. It's okay.
He died. After Peter died in the Ultimate Universe, that's when Miles got created and introduced. So, cool stuff came out of it.
Yeah, I feel like that's fine, because, if... spoilers for Spider-Man movies. If you've seen fucking Spider-Verse, you kind of already got that implication.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
Not that huge a spoiler.
No. Yeah. Peter bites it. It's after like 130 issues though, so he had his time to shine. He had his time. He can die now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's had his time since what, the fucking 60s, 70s?
69? 67?
Look, don't worry. It's not gonna happen in the video game. He's gonna stay alive.
Oh God, what if they, dude? If they, 62. I was way off. I'd have so much respect if they killed Spider-Man in the video game. If they did anything like impactful, well, I guess they already killed. Spoilers for the video game. They already killed Aunt May. So
I'd have respect if they did anything impactful. Remembers that they already did something impactful.
Which I have so much respect for, because when the comics floated the idea of killing Aunt May, instead they ruined Spider-Man for 20 years and got rid of the MJ marriage.
And
it's
they're
still
back at it again.
Oh God!
Now they're back at it again.
and now, in the latest issue of Amazing Spider-Man, Peter was talking to Felicia. And
I did see that panel with zero context. Fuck!
and
No, don't bring that shit up!
For the listeners, he said that MJ was like a sister to him.
Yeah, straight up. Straight up, he said that in zero hesitation.
There's no way.
And I'm sitting here like, my
An Amazing
brother in
Spider-Man?
Christ.
Yeah, I sent you that panel, Tyler.
An Amazing Spider-Man.
In the mainline Spider-Man comic.
Ain't no fucking way, dog. Ain't no
In
goddamn
the
way.
mainline. Hang on, let me scroll back up.
You
far enough.
doubt comic writers' ability to be fucking insane sometimes.
Here it is. He says, Mary Jane has been a part of my life for a long time. More than a part. But
Maybe
she's
he's
more
just
like a
coping, dude.
sister.
Maybe
A
he's just
best
coping,
friend.
dude.
I love her. I always have, and part of me always will. But I think that love has changed, Like capital L to lowercase.
It's funny because you could have just removed the sister part of that and just been like, Mary Jane, she's been like a best friend to me. And then it's perfectly fucking fine.
No. She's like a sister to him.
No.
What do you what?
No. I
Well,
know what I'm asking for. I know what I want. And I want them to not be implying this shit.
Well, it's because in the latest retcon of Amazing Spider-Man, he's actually from Alabama, so in context.
And Ben Riley is like an evil void ghost or something. He's doing something. They're doing something with Ben Riley. That I
Ben
don't understand.
Riley's around right now. Yeah. Anyways, point is, big respect to the Spider-Man game for killing Aunt May instead of ruining Spider-Man for 20 years. Yeah. Now, the movies might have got done the best of both worlds. They both killed Aunt May and got rid of the relationship.
True.
He couldn't have shit.
Spider-Man's not allowed to have any fun.
No. Oh,
He's
It's
allowed
not
to
even
make
fun. He's
quips
just not
while
allowed
he
to have fucking friends.
no.
he's allowed to make quips and be sad.
Yeah, legally,
'Cause
these are
I'm
just two
sad.
options in life.
I'm
Quip and
sad,
cry.
so and I relate to him, so I need him to be sad too.
I mean, that's why you're him on the art, right?
Exactly. All right, Tyler, are you ready to talk about Doctor Strange yet?
Are you ready for me to talk about Doctor Strange?
I
I'm
don't
ready to
think
shut
so.
down conversations about Doctor Strange.
I don't think I'm ready, but I'm gonna try my hardest.
Okay.
God, he always fucking does this. He always
Yeah, and it's funnier for it. Wait, you hate comedy?
No, I love it. I hate that I start every episode cackling because he's making me laugh. I need him to be less funny.